Hi everyone, welcome to today's lesson, Prepping and Directing a Remote Photography Shoot. I'm Jodi Jones, a New York City fashion photographer and creative director with over 20 years experience working with brands on their marketing strategies. At Jodi Jones Studio, we aim to equip photographers, art directors, influencers, creatives, and entrepreneurs with a set of tools to attract the right people to you or your brand the right way. In this series, Remote Shooting, we teach you how to produce, organize, and lead a remote photography shoot, how to use video conferencing tools to connect with clients, how to implement the right software and apps, how to diversify your earnings by live streaming remote projects, and finally, we teach you how to enhance your post-production process and lead confident remote viewing sessions. In this first episode of this 4-part series, we'll teach you how to organize, prepare, lead, direct, and manage all the different elements of a remote photo shoot. Creatives and businesses that can't or don't know how to adapt and innovate will fail. There's no other way to say it. To be in a truly successful creative or entrepreneur endeavor, you have to be prepared to modify your business model to respond to marketing shifts. One of those business innovations is being able to conduct your creative business remotely. Many people have already made the transition to remote working, and despite an often messy teething period, they've found they can be just as effective as they were when face-to-face. So that's all well and good for office workers and professionals that can operate via email and video chat. But what about photographers, art directors, and brands that rely on location shoots and real-time interactions with models, art directors, and photography teams? Well, it turns out with a little tech know-how, some soft people skills, and the right preparation, you can effectively manage and direct a photo shoot involving multiple parties over several locations and get outstanding results, almost as if you're there in person. In this episode, we'll focus on the preparation, directorial, and leadership skills needed to organize an effective photo shoot remotely. Preparation is key. It's difficult to manage models or influencers, the photo set, lighting, and art direction, all while monitoring the various tech you'll have to set up and making sure that everything runs smoothly if you don't have a plan. The key to an effective shoot, both in terms of time and quality of the final product, comes down to how much prep work you've done. It's not just a matter of meeting up on a Zoom call and commanding various poses from your talent. You want to be confident and professional, especially if it's the first time working with this particular client or team. So let's go through our preparation checklist, all the steps you need to take before ever taking the first shot. Get any creative questions answered ahead of time. Make your talent, whether you're a photographer and your talent is a bride, celebrity, fashion model, or anyone else, make them feel involved in the shoot process by having a creative discussion ahead of time. Never be too proud to listen to the opinion of others. You probably already do this, but it's even more important now. Remote shooting can have a cold, disconnected feel, so it's so important to take time to engage with the person you're photographing prior to the shoot. You will also want to get as much creative input from your client beforehand in order to incorporate their ideas into the shoot when possible. You may want to consider this a collaboration since your subject will be doing some of the work for you, such as controlling the light, the tripod, the camera, and the iPhone holder setup. Make a detailed shot list. You probably already do this in preparation for a face-to-face photo shoot, but making a detailed plan of the shots you want for the project is a step that can be overlooked when bringing remote shooting into the picture. Ask the subject to take a few smartphone pics of the location and around their house. Locations near sources of light like windows, terraces, and porches are best. Knowing ahead of time what angles, outfits, looks, and shots you will need will save time and will let you prepare specific instructions for the model, your subject, or your participant. This includes your preference on the background, lighting, clothing, props, and makeup. Make a contingency list just in case certain things aren't available, and be prepared on the day to jump to plan B at a moment's notice if things could go wrong. You will want to have as much planned out as possible, but with remote shooting, don't be afraid to be spontaneous and make the project fun. Because light changes, and even the day maybe that you did a walkthrough or you got some of the smartphone pictures, the light wasn't the same as it is today on your shoot day. So have fun and remember that enjoy the moment and be spontaneous. Really follow the light. That's so important. If you have beautiful window light, you might want to change things up and move the subject over in front of the window for that moment because that light might just be there for a few minutes. So it's really important, even though you have a very structured plan, but to always be flexible and adaptive to the elements of the day. Scheduling. It's very important to find a time where all parties are available, and this can be quite difficult, especially if you're working at other sides of the globe. Imagine adding a third party, say one in LA, one in New York, and one in Australia. Managing those various time zones can be quite a challenge. Time zones are difficult to manage, so be prepared to compromise and pick a time where everyone is available. Allow a date far enough into the future so you can be adequately prepared come shoot day. Also make sure that you allow enough time during the shoot for equipment setup. If you or any other party is inexperienced with the tech, you could potentially be looking at the first hour lost to tech support and repeating, "Can you hear me now?" over and over again. Give yourself time for complications. If this is your first remote shoot, be generous with the time you allow. It is not uncommon for your first shoot to take twice as long as you expect. Schedule your pre-production meetings on your chosen video conference application, whether it's Zoom, Skype, Meet, WeChat, WhatsApp, Teams, or anything else altogether. I mostly use Zoom. Equipment. This next preparation item is going to vary dependent on a few factors: the subject, the scale of the shoot, and the location. Remote shooting means that you can ship your camera, tripod, and lighting to the talent, subject, or location, or be limited by the equipment that's ready and available to them. Depending on the scope of the project, there are really different levels of remote shooting. Remote shooting for a very high-end project where you want a professional camera, tripod, and lighting, that could mean shipping your camera, tripod, or lighting, or having a rental house ship it to them, right to your talent. However, you can always use a smartphone. When I was doing a lot of my remote shooting projects, I was relying on what the subject had available, and many of them had a lot of resources for me to use. Most of them all had smartphones, and they could download the app, and they had great natural light. So we always want to, depending on the project, use what is easy and available, but know that we can easily train them if we need to remotely with professional gear, and I will take you through that step as well. So depending on the scope of the project, your subject might be provided with or supplied lighting. Even something as inexpensive as a small LED O-ring light can make a world of difference. Or perhaps your subject already has a great light, and this is something you will discuss in advance. You can advise them on lighting options, either natural or artificial. I personally did not need to do this on the LPJC project that I did during quarantine, as I used only what the talent had available and was creative with that. It made it so much fun. If your remote shoot involves an outdoor location or natural light, keep in mind the best time for this natural light being where you intend to shoot, and take this into consideration when scheduling. Find out all of the tools they have in advance and make sure they know how to use them. Some of the people I have photographed via remote shooting have been influencers and celebrities, and they've already owned their own portable lights. But I'm a big fan of natural light, and window light is so beautiful and easily available. Just be sure to use the window light properly and take in consideration how it will fall on your subject and what the background will be. For bigger shoots, if you need to ship any tools to the talent, keep that in mind well in advance. Make sure you know what camera will be on the subject's end, whether it's a DSLR, a high-quality webcam, or even an iPhone. I have done over 50 remote shoots using only an iPhone and natural light. I love it. It's important that they test this prior to the shoot day. Tech issues can quickly derail a project. Make sure that your subject has all the links well in advance to download any software they would need, and any spare cables on hand, batteries charged, and have done all the software updates well ahead of time. And speaking of software, depending on the type of collaboration style you use, there are a few different software applications that you will need for the remote shoot to make things run smoothly. Collaboration softwares like Zoom or Skype, WhatsApp, Teams, they require prior installation and an account created. Remote access apps like Chrome Remote Desktop or GetScreen.me need to be downloaded if you use a DSLR and a computer at their location. Similarly, photoshoot software that you might use could include Lightroom, Capture One, Digicam, Close, and Canon Connect. Depending on which route you use, these also should be downloaded, tested, and set up in advance. When I did the LPJC project, I used the Close app, and I will take you through that project. Most of my remote shoots, I use the Close app. Of course, finding out the capabilities of the remote talent should form part of your scheduling and should aim to try and make the process as easy as possible for them. This means being flexible on their communication preferences. Obviously, there are some compromises that can't be made, but the subject's level of tech literacy must be taken into account. Make sure to be patient, super patient. Leading, directing, and managing. If you are a professional photographer already, you should be quite used to directing on-set situations. You've presumably had experience directing talent and crew to get the outcomes you desire. Remote shooting adds a new level of complexity to your instruction process and a new set of skills such as patience and teaching your subject. Your direction is now coming through a tiny laptop speaker or smartphone, so your directions must be clear, concise, and loaded with confidence, but always with a smile. Depending on your internet speed and subject's location, there might be a pronounced lag or delay on the video call. If possible, be sure to be on the fastest internet available. Keep this in mind when giving instructions. Be loud so your voice projects 6 feet from the speaker, but also be warm. Finally, you're in charge, so act like it. Mistakes happen, and it's important not to let technical issues or last-minute changes of plans fluster you. Clients and talents can sense anxiety, even a remote video call. Take charge, give clear instructions, and always have a contingency plan. Stay confident and have fun. On all of my remote shoots, we started with a pre-production meeting with the client, the art director, or the producer, and we would talk about the vision for the shoot project. Since we were managing numerous remote shoots every few days, we brought on a PR and marketing person that would reach out to the talent for a pre-production intro meeting. My team consisted of a 3-person crew, a producer, a digital technician, and myself, the photographer. For our initial intro Zoom meeting with a client or talent, we would all be on the Zoom together, getting to meet one another and discuss the shoot. Most of the time, we didn't know the talent beforehand, so it was vital to do the Zoom introduction call and get excited about the project together. And since this is an unconventional type of shoot project, we really explained the process thoroughly with the client and the talent so everyone understood how the shoot would take place in a very simple step-to-step process. This first initial Zoom call was a great way to get to know the talent, and in my case, many of them were celebrities, and to really build up trust. The producer was there to make introductions. The producer's job was to share info about the team to the client and subject, discussing our professional skills and to build a connection and trust, as in remote shooting. We often go into someone's home remotely, into their private space, so it's really good to have that third-party introduction that can validate your credentials as a creative. Plus, this whole remote processing can be intimidating to some people, and they know nothing about tech and lighting. They're used to taking a selfie, but might not know how to handle a professional shoot. The Zoom intro call will give you an opportunity to walk everyone through the process that they're about to do. Many times, talent is already nervous about doing a photo shoot. Now they have to add Wi-Fi, tech, software, hair, makeup, background, and that can be intimidating for some. So one of the most important parts is being warm and friendly and reassuring them that this is a really exciting type of new project. And we're entering this new realm together and to have fun. Things may happen, Wi-Fi and tech may fail, but it's okay. Be relaxed for them and let them know you really appreciate them being part of the project. It's a lot on their plate. You need the talent to feel natural and relaxed because they're the ones getting their picture taken. And if they're so concerned about the tech, they might feel like they're failing if things go wrong. We want to take away the stress and make it fun for them. Communication, reassurance, and trust needs to be encouraged. It's very important. During COVID, people have been isolated to an extent, so I really wanted this to be an experience, a human interaction between myself and the talent. Show them respect and give them appreciation. Give them a great experience with the process so that they can share the excitement with others. And this in turn will lead to them telling people about the project and you getting hired for other projects. So let's recap. Businesses that cannot adapt to changing global conditions probably will fail. Being prepared is the most important part of successfully managing a remote photo shoot. It's important to involve your client and talent in this creative planning process. Their feedback could be the difference between an average photo shoot and an award-winning project. Plan the project with a list of shots that you guys want. Plan for contingencies if your vision for the project isn't possible. Schedule extra time ahead of the actual photo shoot, allowing time for tech setup and testing. Make a list of available and required equipment needed on both ends. Make sure all equipment and software is installed, updated, and tested well in advance. Prepare the client or talent for the full process ahead of time. Tech challenges and limitations can make interaction delayed or difficult, but be aware of this and respond accordingly during a photo shoot if this happens. The energy you bring, along with confidence and having fun, is paramount to making the remote shooting a great experience that gets repeated over and over for you. For today's homework, Plan out your first remote test photo shoot. We would love you to complete some of the preparation steps for this. Select a subject for your remote shoot. Set up a FaceTime or video walkthrough with them to see the environment or location ideas for the shoot, since you will be shooting them for this assignment in their home environment. From that video walkthrough, begin to build a creative mood board, including a list of shots desired, taking into consideration where you will get the best natural light in their home, what backgrounds might look nice, and the best time of day for your shoot. I would also like you to review all of the software you may need for your specific remote shoot. We will be discussing software and hardware options in more detail throughout this course. Thanks for tuning in to us here at Jodi Jones Studio. We hope that today's lesson has given you a better understanding of what may go into your remote photo shoot. And throughout this course, we really want you to feel prepared and confident to begin to lead remote photo sessions and to help to expand your business as a photographer or creative. Let me know all the ways that this has helped you. Thanks for now. I'll see you next time.